Okay, Hasbro Pulse Con 2022 is in the books. The last panel of the day was the Star Wars Black Series and Vintage Collection panels that the Star Wars team showed off some new items for Andor, as well as the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi, and we will be getting some stuff for the 20th anniversary overall of seeing anything regarding Clone Wars, whether that's Dave Filoni or Genndy Tartakovsky, anything like that. So yeah, and then it's the 10th anniversary of Black Series next year, so we're gonna hopefully get to see some new stuff hopefully next year, because this live stream, I'm gonna give my quick thoughts. Just gonna say this really quick. I was severely disappointed in this stream, if I'm being honest. I did not. There was maybe like 2 figures out of this whole stream that I liked, but the rest I was incredibly bored, if I'm being honest. And I'm gonna say this really quick, and we're gonna get to the reveals. If you feel differently from me, where you loved the live stream, you loved everything that was shown off, you want to get most, if not everything that was shown off, and you're enthusiastic about it, awesome. More power to you. You will not hear any gatekeeping from me. But just because I have a more negative opinion than some people out there doesn't mean I'm not allowed to, I'm still allowed to have my opinion, is what I'm trying to say. I just wanted to voice it out here, because that's what I like to do on the channel, is give my opinion on these thoughts, or these reveals, and give my thoughts on these reveals. So with that out of the way, let's start with this exclusive set, this PulseCon exclusive set of Andor and the droid B2 EMO. I have not watched Andor yet. I can't do Disney Plus content right now. I just can't. My friends who have been really burnt down on Star Wars, who they love Star Wars, have gotten and watched. They've gone and watched Andor, and they said that they've actually liked it. So eventually, I will get to it. I just can't right now. But a lot of stuff. I'm doing this the next day because I had to get called into work, and it was a whole debacle. A lot of stuff dropped yesterday around 6:00 p.m. So I believe this did too. I'm wondering if this is even still available for pre-order. I'll try to leave pre-order links in the description, but there will probably be a lot of links. They did also show off a vintage collection set that does come with the Mandalorian, Dark Trooper, and a bunch of accessories like flame effects, looking really cool, as well as Moff Gideon. And I forgot to screenshot it in this image here. But they also have a small Grogu that's coming with this set, so that's pretty sick for the vintage collection fans. Speaking of, I actually had no idea this. I missed out the fact that this was announced. A Boba Fett throne room set. Look at all of those accessories. Now, when I say this, I know very well why this is possible, but stuff like this, these sets are kind of blowing Black Series out of the water. Vintage Collection is kind of lit lately, and it's because it's a smaller scale than Black Series. It's going to be much harder to do, to get those sold in the 6-inch scale, just because of how much more plastic and how much more expensive it's going to be. But I still think that this is really sick. And Bib Fortuna comes with this set. Look at all that stuff assembled there. That is incredible. Great details on the overall throne room. Wow, I'm really impressed with how that looks. If I was a vintage collection collector, like primarily that line, I would be super jazzed right now. And apparently pre-orders are closing in the next week. These pre-orders have been open for a while, apparently, and I just didn't realize. Speaking of vintage collection, they are making a Cassian Andor for the vintage collection. I do believe this is like retooled, not just a shrunk down version of the Black Series version. I don't think they do that. I think they mostly just retool it. They probably draw reference whenever they do one or the other. Like if they work on the Black Series first, they probably draw reference and add details into this, take inspiration from that. But I do believe this is retooled. Not just a shrunk down version of the Black Series version. It does look nice, and the packaging here does look cool too. And there's not much I could say on this because I don't really get these kind of figures, but I always like the blister cards for the vintage collection line, which is like the main reason why people are getting it, is these these packagings, and having 3 3/4 inch figures that are articulated finally again in the Black Series and vintage collection stuff. Another character I'm not even going to pretend I know anything about, Vel Sartha, which character also from Andor. So the promo image here looking rather nice. Again, there's not much for me to add. That AK looking weapon there looking kind of cool. And then They have an in-hand image of the character right there. They did not say if this is going to get a Black Series version. They said that we will get more Andor figures in Black Series down the line, but they did not show off or even like a tease that we're getting her in the Black Series line. For anybody wanting a 6-inch figure of her, just want to let you guys know. Bradley D. Baker there was on a segment with a couple other actors in different Star Wars media, showing off the first reveal of the Bad Batch Vintage Collection Hunter. And this is the packaging for it. It comes with a ton of accessories. Very cool looking. So, yeah, you're getting Bad Batch 3 3/4-inch figures. I believe I don't know actually what the next one's going to be, but it will only be a matter of time before you can build your whole Bad Batch. Moving on, we have the 6-inch Andor stuff that they were showing off, which I'm just not interested in right now, at least, because, again, I haven't seen the show. And this is the exact same figure that we're getting from the Pulse exclusive set. And they were very upfront about that, which I kind of respect it. But at the same time, it felt like, just watching this live stream, just felt like they just did not have a lot to say, because they know a lot of these figures that they're making, a lot of it's retooled or re-releases, and they just don't have much to add. And I was just like, wow, I'm really bored. So anyway, in-hand image of the figure right there in front of the new type of packaging, which does look similar enough to what we transitioned into in 2020, where you have particular colors for whatever sub-series of Star Wars media it is, as well as the character in the middle there. There's no window box, unfortunately, anymore. Plastic-free packaging. You get the character, you get the action figure on the front. But you do have that side panel that isn't like, black and white going into a gradient of the color of the character right there. So at least they're keeping that, unlike with Marvel Legends, which is like a completely different style that I just do not like. So at least that this looks a little bit more consistent, this packaging. Another character I'm not even going to pretend I know anything about, Bix Colleen, if it said that right. He's a promo image right there. In-hand image, it doesn't look too bad. They did, not just with this character, but like with a bunch of other characters with like trench coats and skirts, they were saying, they have soft plastic, so that way you won't be too hindered in your articulation, when in reality, we are still pretty hindered when trying to pose these around because of that soft plastic. I just thought it was funny that they said that. But she comes with a data pad that has a removable slot right there, looking really sick. And this is an image of her again, but with the packaging this time. And I do think maybe they should have shown the actual person on the very front of the box instead of just the figure, but that's what the side panel is for, so I'm not going to really complain too much about that. Not much for me to add here. We have this character named Luthen. I don't know how to say the last name, so I'm not even going to attempt it. Sorry. From the trailers that I saw, this character actually appeared really cool, so if I watch the show and end up liking this character, I might as well get Andor at that point later on down the line if it's cheaper. But I'll probably get this character too if I get any of them. This one looks really sick. Here's the in-hand image. Comes with a gun. Comes with a particular knife accessory, looking rather nice. They didn't really show it too well with like the zoom ins, and the camera angles weren't great. And throughout this whole event, like these past 2 days, you're just like trying to get close ups to see what these figures look like. Besides like the Marvel Legends panel, they had some pretty good close ups. Trying to get this actor's likeness, screenshotting it was not very easy. But I do think, just from the small image I see here, that likeness is really nice. And then this is what the packaging looks like right there. And then Mon Mothma, the version from Andor, which will probably also work, unless there's a completely different outfit, I don't remember, probably also work with your Rogue One display. I'm hoping we will eventually get a Return of the Jedi version, since they're completely different actors. But this still looks nice. In-hand image still also looks really cool with some nice details, photo reel on the the face there, but I don't see any accessories. I'm not sure what she would have come with. Again, I haven't watched the show. So probably, $25 figure with no accessories is going to be a little bit of a harder pill to swallow. But the packaging here, again, it's very, very much like the rest of what we saw with the rest of the Andor stuff, and what we're going to be seeing a lot from now on with the rest of the Black Series figures. Like the Halloween figures, I already know are going to be having this type of packaging like this. So yeah, that's what they showed off for Andor. They didn't show off really anything else. They did, I believe we knew about this already, Axe Wolves, which is one of the 3 members in Bo-Katan's group in Mandalorian. We're finally getting a figure of him. As you can see, it's clearly the Death Watch Mandalorian body, but, different painting and retooled parts. Looking at this image here, it does have a removable helmet. I forget the actors' names, but it does have, that photoreal head sculpt right there. So that's going to be pretty sick. And originally, I was just going to get a Mandalorian Loyalist on eBay, with the Walmart exclusive stuff from 2020. That was not easy to get. So that was going to be a stand-in if they never made Axe Wolves, but eventually they finally released them. So there you go. Okay, I let the time go a little too long when recording that previous voiceover, so I'm going to go through the Return of the Jedi 40th Anniversary Vintage Card Black Series figures real quick. A lot of repacks, which, it's to be expected with a line like this, but at the same time, there's just very little new, like some of the previous card backs that they do for this sometimes. Who knows? We might get more. Don't know, but Biker Scout. I like the Biker Scout. It's just this is like the 19th time we've gotten one, so I don't really need it. But really, if you're a completionist and need the cards, you want to collect them on the card, then there you go. Even though Amazon will probably bend the crap out of your card. Skiff Guard Lando, released a while ago. I think released like twice. Like, oh my god, yeah. I think like in the normal line, and then I think the Archive series. I could be wrong. I don't remember exactly. And now here, it's just like, man, what is going on? Yikes. Anyway, we also have Han, and I believe this is was it 2020 when we got the Return of the Jedi version with Luke and Leia, as well as, I forget what Ewok it was. Why didn't they just wait a couple years to give us these now? It would have been a lot more of a special reveal, if I'm being honest. But it's apparently that wasn't a bad figure at all, and I had soft goods trench coat there. I didn't get that previous version. I might eventually get this one. I don't know. And then it's pretty much same thing with Leia. She has soft fabric, soft goods, as you can see. This is very much the previous version we got, just like with the Han I was talking about with Empire. Or I keep saying Empire. I want to say Empire. Return of the Jedi. And then they did show Wicket, though, which is shorter than a normal Ewok. Of course, I didn't get any previous Ewoks, unfortunately. I don't know if I'm going to get this one. It does look cool because the sculpting and the paintwork on this figure right here does look nice. And then here's an in-hand image of the figure right there. So it's cool to see that. It does come with a lot of accessories to make up for its small size. Here's what it looks like in the vintage card. So that way you're seeing what is really being packed here for $25. Even though it comes with a lot of stuff, I'm just no. $25 for such literally like an 1.5 inch, 2 inch figure. No. Is this where I'm at with Hasbro right now, where I'm just so painfully indifferent on so many things that I've just seen, besides Indiana Jones this weekend? Oh, man, I don't know. That might be telling for me. Vintage Collection, they're doing a Hasbro Pulse exclusive 7-pack of the Cantina band, so that's cool. The 3/4 inch figures. For a second, I thought it was the 6-inch figures that came out earlier this year, and I was like, great. There was no reason to get those if you could buy. No, this is the 3/4 inch stuff. So there's still a reason to buy the 6-inch stuff. I was like, I would have been really surprised if they announced the 6-inch set, and it would have been extremely expensive. But this is a 3/4 inch set for the Cantina band, so that's cool. Also showed off the packaging here. When I did my May the 4th, I think earlier this year, reveals of, I think there was like a Clone Trooper pack for the Vintage Collection. I think was also a Pulse exclusive. Didn't realize the boxes for this are like this all the time with the Vintage Collection, not just the windowless box. A new change. This box that looks like this now has been like that for a couple of years if it's a Pulse exclusive. So that just tells you how much I get those figures. So I'll hold an L on that one. Never addressed that, unfortunately. Now we're getting into the pipeline reveals, which is like half of the actual reveals of this entire live stream. I'm going to side tangent really quick. I get that the Star Wars team had to be here today to show off some products, but I would have thought that these pipeline reveals would have been a lot more special if we actually saw the figures. I know that they're not ready, so I would have preferred they honestly just talk about Andor as well as showing off some of the other stuff they had in hand with the Vintage Collection and, the Return of the Jedi Black Series carded figures. And then maybe tease a one pipeline. Half of these being pipeline, I just, it's cool to know that we are getting these figures eventually. I just think it would have been a lot more special of an announcement if, they waited until the figures were close to ready to show. Anyway, not going to knock on the team too much. Just going to be talking about the quick pipeline reveals. We have Return of the Jedi version of Darth Vader here. And with this image here, of course, it means that we are going to get a removable half of the helmet there. There's not much I can talk about with these because what we're seeing is what we're getting so far, just the characters' images from the movies. So we're also getting a Weequay. We're getting a lot of characters for the sail barge, even though the sail barge came out from HasLab, like they said almost 5 years ago at this point. We're getting some characters here for that. And if you don't have the sail barge, you can still get these characters. So the Weequay here looks nice. Wolf here as well. Not gonna lie, I did write down some of the race of these characters' names, because I just completely forgot. So I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. Some of these race names I did forget. We also have Salt Murray, aka Yak Face. So that's cool. I could have sworn we got a Yak Face years ago, but I guess if they did, then they're gonna be re-releasing one here, or that could have been the previous Vintage Collection before they revamped the whole thing with new articulation and all that. I could be wrong, but cool to see the Yak Face. We are also getting a Nikto Skiff Guard. So we have a good number of cards and slight army builders for your, beginning of Return of the Jedi movie stuff with Jabba's sail barge on Tatooine, as well as a Cathaba Skiff Guard. So, I don't hate that we're getting these gift cards. I just wish, again, they waited a little bit longer to show it. Another pipeline reveal is that we are getting the Endor base. We're going to get figures involved with the Endor base. So that would be cool to see. That'd be a fun little play set. And those figures coinciding with this, it's going to be cool. We are going to be getting a Star Wars The Black Series, another Jedi Luke. I believe this is going to be using the one from 2020. They said that they use, it's either the updated body on that or the one that they used in the Walmart exclusive one a few years ago, which I prefer that one, so I'm just going to keep that one. I wouldn't be surprised if they were just re-releasing either the Walmart one or the one from 2020, the Endor version, or if both those are the exact same figure, because I didn't get the Endor version. I don't entirely remember, but we're getting another one, just another re-release. Yeah, okay. It's probably going to be on the vintage card, so I can't blame it too much, because that's the point of that line, is to put them on vintage cards. Same thing with the Vader here. And again, with this image, you're going to see that they are going to be redoing what they did, like I think with the original Vader with the half mask shown. That's what they're going to be doing here. They're going to do an updated half mask, and hopefully it's going to have nice photo printing on there. So I thought it looked a little rough the first time around, so updating it here would be nice. And one thing I am excited for when it does come to Pipeline, because of how they explained it, is a completely retooled, from the ground up, R2-D2. The previous one, a lot of people, myself included, agree is a little too small and doesn't scale entirely too well with the Black Series line. So if they make it a little bit bigger and have some better details, even though it looked pretty good for, a 2013 figure back in the day, but, retooling it to make it look a little bit better, maybe a little bit more metallic, maybe some more functions than the previous one, that's going to be cool to see. And they are re-releasing the Royal Guard. It has been a really long while since we've had the Royal Guard, and I like the Royal Guard. I think it's a really awesome. I put it on my top 10 favorite Black Series. I don't remember exactly, but it is really, really nice. So that's cool that we are getting that re-released. $25 though. I think I'm okay with the 2 or 3 that I already have in my collection. We also have a Tusken Warrior to go with your Book of Boba Fett, vintage collection figures, and this is going to be part of that. Maybe we'll eventually get a Black Series version 2, but they just showed off that we're getting a vintage collection 1. Now, another pipeline reveal for Black Series that we're going to get the Pikes from Book of Boba Fett, which is cool. That's a cool type of army builder you could do. They don't do as much as like a Stormtrooper, if you'd say, but that is cool. You could get a couple Pikes square up against her Boba Fett. That is pretty good. And in other instances too. So I think that's actually a really cool idea for an army builder. We are getting a Book of Boba Fett version of Cad Bane. So I'm sure they're going to have some updated details to make it look more like that live action version, since, I mean, art style, setting aside the idea of the art styles, of course, between Clone Wars and live action, they do look different, and I don't mind that they look different, of course. But we're probably going to have proportions and more details, more accurate to how he looked in Book of Boba Fett. We are also getting the Tusken Chieftain. So cool number of Tuskens. I think I only have like 2 Tusken Raiders, so hopefully this is a good way to also have some diversity in your Tusken collection if you need to build that up, and hopefully we get some more Tuskens from Book of Boba Fett because of that. Another pipeline reveal is going to be the Force FX Luke Skywalker lightsaber, the green one. That's cool. I only own the Luke one, like the very first one, I believe. The with the blue and all that. And then I have Mace Windu's lightsaber because I love Mace Windu. It's my favorite Jedi. So maybe I'll get this one. I don't know. They did tease that we are going to get a phase 2. The image here is phase 2, so I assume they're going to be doing just a phase 2 clone trooper helmet for the role-playing items. Probably going to have a bunch of lights and sounds. It's a wearable helmet, similar to what we get with like the X-Wing helmet, Darth Vader's helmet, Mando's helmet too. So that's cool. And the very last thing they showed off is that they're doing Hauser. Apparently, this free release here is because it was named improperly the previous time. So they kind of messed up on the marketing there. But this is going to be marketed as Hauser there for some of your Bad Batch stuff. So that's cool. Yeah, I'm sorry for sounding so negative throughout this whole video, and it's a little bit longer than I wanted it to be too, but I just can't help it, man. I was really, really, really just so indifferent and disappointed by these reveals. I found them to be incredibly lackluster. If you like them, I'm not going to gatekeep. More power to you. I'm glad. It's just I wasn't not really digging a lot of stuff going on here. There's like, again, the Axe Wolves. I already pre-ordered. I wanted to get that one. Maybe Wicked if I somehow find it for $15, but I'm not paying $25 for such a small figure like that, even though it comes with that many accessories. That's it. That's not much else I really want from these reveals besides the retooled R2 that we'll eventually get. So yeah, I wonder if I'm even going to get enough. I mean, they're going to announce some more next year throughout 2023 that we will get in 2023. So when I say this, I'm sure I'll be able to get a few for this. But like at this point, I'm collecting so little Black Series at this point that it's just like I'm struggling to even come up with top 10 favorites of the year when it's time to do it towards the end of the year. So I don't know if that's where I'm at with this line at this point, because I just have almost everything I kind of need at this point. So yeah, wow. Anyway, sorry for a bit of a negative vibe here. There was some good stuff announced this week from different panels. Just me personally, I didn't think it was Star Wars. Not great, sorry. Thanks for watching, guys. Leave your thoughts down in the comments below, and yeah, see ya.